Act 3, Scene 1, a room in the castle. Enter King Claudius, Queen Gertrude, Polonius, Ophelia, Rosencrantz, and Guildenstern. And can you, by no drift of circumstance, get from him why he puts on this confusion, grating so harshly all his days of quiet with turbulent and dangerous lunacy?
He does confess he feels himself distracted, but from what cause I will by no means speak.
Nor do we find him forward to be sounded, but with a crafty madness keeps aloof, when we would bring him on to some confession of his true state. Did he receive you well?
Most like a gentleman.
With much forcing of his disposition.
Figurative question, but of our demands, most free in his reply.
Did you essay him to any pastime?
Madam, it so fell out that certain players were o'erwrought on the way. Of these we told him, and there did seem in him a kind of joy to hear of it. They and there about the court, and as I think, they have already ordered this night to play before him. 'Tis most true, and he beseeched me to entreat your majesties to hear what he see the matter.
With all my heart, and it doth much content me to hear him so inclined. Good gentlemen, give him a further edge, and drive his purpose on to these delights.
We shall, my lord.
Sweet Gertrude, leave us too, for we have closely sent for Hamlet hither, that he, as 'twere by accident, may here affront Ophelia. Her father and myself, lawful espials, will so bestow ourselves that, seeing unseen, we may of their encounter frankly judge, and gather by him as he has behaved, if to be the affliction of his love, or know that thus he suffers for.
I shall obey you. For your part, Ophelia, I do wish that the good beauties be the happy cause of Hamlet's wildness. So shall I hope your virtues will bring him to his wonted way again, to both your honors. Madam, I wish it may.
Ophelia, walk you here. Gracious so please you. We will bestow ourselves. Read on this book, that show of such an exercise may color your loneliness. We are oft to blame on this, too much prove that with devotion's visage, pious action we do sugar o'er the devil himself.
'Tis true. How smart a lash that speech doth give my conscience. The harlot's cheek, beautified with plastering art, is not more ugly to the thing that helps it than is my deed to my most painted word. Oh, heavy burden.
I hear him coming. Let's withdraw, my lord.
To be or not to be, that is the question. Whether it is nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against the sea of trouble, and by opposing, and die, sleep, sleep, no more. And by sleep we say to end the heartache and the thousand natural shocks that flesh is heir to. 'Tis a consummation devoutly to be wished, to die, sleep, sleep, chance to dream. Aye, there's the rub. For in the sleep of death what dreams may come. When we have shoveled off this mortal coil, must give us pause. There's the respect that makes calamity of so long life. For who would bear the whips and scorns of time, the oppressor's wrong, the proud man's contumely, the pangs of despised love, the law's delay, the insolence of office and spurns, the patient merit of the unworthy takes, when he himself might his quietus make with a bare bottom? Who would their portals here bear, to grunt and sweat under a weary life, but that the dread of something after death, that undiscovered country from whose bourne no traveler returns, pleasures the will, and makes us rather bear those ills we have than fly to those that we know not of. Thus conscience doth make cowards of us all, And thus the native hue of resolution is sickly or with a pale cast of thought, and enterprises of great pith and moment disregard their currents, turn awry, and lose the name of action. Soctuna, fair Ophelia, nymph in thy visions be all my sins remembered.
Good my lord, what is your honor for this many a day?
I humbly thank you. Well, well, well.
My lord, I have remembrances of yours that I have longed to redeliver. I pray you, now receive them.
No, not I. I never gave you aught.
My honored lord, you know right well you did. And with them words of so sweet breath composed, as made the things more rich, their perfume lost. Take these again, for to the noble mind, rich gifts wax for when givers prove unkind. There, my lord.
Are you honest?
My lord,
Are you fair?
what means your lordship?
That if you be honest and fair, your honesty should admit no discourse to your beauty.
Could beauty, my lord, have better commerce than with honesty?
Aye, truly. For the power of beauty will sooner transform honesty from what it is to a bawd than the force of honesty can translate beauty into his likeness. This was sometimes a paradox, but now the time gives it proof. I did love you once,
Indeed, my lord, you made me believe so.
for you should not have believed me. For virtue cannot so inoculate our old stock, but we shall rouse of it. I loved you not.
I was the more deceived.
Get thee to a nunnery. Why wouldst thou be a breeder of sinners? I am myself indifferent, honest, but yet I could accuse me of such things that it were better my mother had not born. I am very proud, revengeful, ambitious, with more offenses at my beck than I have thoughts to put them in, imagination to give them shape, or time to act them in. What should such fellows as I do crawling between heaven and earth? We are errant knaves all. Believe none of us. Go thy wife to a nunnery. Where's your father?
At home, my lord.
Let the door be shut upon him that he may play the fool nowhere but in his own house. Farewell.
Oh, help me, you sweet heavens.
Thou dost marry. I give thee this plague for a doubt. Be thou as chaste as ice, as pure as snow, thou shalt not escape colony. Get thee to a nunnery. Go, farewell. For if thou wilt needs marry, marry a fool. For wise men know well enough what monsters you make of them. To a nunnery go, and quickly to farewell.
Oh, heavenly powers, restore him.
Oh, I have heard of your paintings too well enough. God hath given you one face, and you make yourself another. You jig, you amble, and you lisp, and nickname God's creatures, and make your wantonness your ignorance. Go to! I'll know more in it. It hath made me mad. I say, we will have no more marriages. Those that are married already, all but one, shall live. The rest shall keep as they are. To a nunnery go.
Oh, what a noble mind is there overthrown. The courtiers, scholars, soldiers, eye, tongue, sword, the expectancy and rose of the fair state, the glass of fashion and the mold of form, the observed of all observers, quite down, and I of ladies most deject and wretched, that suck the honey of his music vows, now see that noble and most sovereign reason, like sweet bells jangled out of tune and harsh, that unmatched form and feature of blown youth, blasted with ecstasy. Oh, woe is me, to have seen what I have seen, and see what I see.
Love his affections do not that way tend, nor what he spake, though it lacked form a little, was not like madness. There's something in his soul o'er which his melancholy sits on brood, and I do doubt the hatch and the disclose will be some danger, which for to prevent, I have in quick determination thus set it down, he shall with speed to England, for the demand of our neglected tribute, haply the seas and countries different with variable objects, shall expel this something settled matter in his heart, whereon his brain still beating puts him thus from passion of himself. What think you on it?
It shall do well. But yet do I believe the origin and commencement of his grief sprung from neglected love. How now, Ophelia? You need not tell us what Lord Hamlet said. We heard it all. My lord, do as you please. But if you hold it fit after the play, let his queen mother all alone entreat him to show his grief. Let her be round with him, and I'll be placed, so to please you, in the ear of all their conference. If she finds him not, to England send him, or confine him where your wisdom best shall think.
It shall be so. Madness and great ones must not unwatched go. Scene 2. A hall in the castle. Enter Hamlet and the players.
Speak the speech, I pray you, as I pronounced it to you, trippingly on the tongue. But if you mouth it, as many of your players do, I had as lief the town crier spoke my lines. Nor do not saw the air too much with your hands thus, but use all gently, from the very torrent, tempest, and, as I may say, whirlwind of passion, you must acquire and beget a temperance that may give it smoothness. Oh, it offends me to the soul to hear a robustious, periwinkle-pated fellow tear a passion to tatters, to very rags, to split the ears of the groundlings, who, for the most part, are capable of nothing but inexplicable dumb shows and noise. I would have such a fellow whipped for o'erdoing Termagant, or out Herod's Herod. I pray you, avoid it.
I warrant, your honor.
Be not too tame neither, but let your own discretion be your tutor. Suit the action to the word the action, with the special observance that you o'erstep not the modesty of nature, for anything so overdone is from the purpose of playing, whose end both at the first and now was and is to hold as 'twere the mirror up to nature, to show virtue her own image, scorn her own image, and the very age and body of the time his form and pressure. Now, this overdone or comes tardy off, though it make the unskilled laugh, cannot but make the judicious grieve. The censure of the which one must in your allowance o'erweigh a whole theatre of others. Oh, there be players that I have seen play and heard others praise, and that highly, not to speak it profanely, that neither having the accent of Christians, nor the gait of Christian, pagan, nor man have so strutted and bellowed, that I thought some of nature's journeymen had made men, and not made them well. They imitated humanity so abominably.
I hope we have reformed that indifferently with you, sir.
Oh, reform it altogether, and let those that play your clowns speak no more than is set down for them. For there be of them that will themselves laugh, set on some quantity of barren spectators to laugh to, though in the meantime some necessary question of the play be then to be considered, its villainous, and show a most pitiful ambition in the fool that uses it. Go, make you ready. How now, my lords, will the king hear this piece of work?
And the queen too, and that presently.
I bid the players make haste. Will you two help hasten them?
Aye, my lord.
What ho, Horatio?
Oh,
Horatio.
Oh, sorry. Here, sweet lord, at your service.
Horatio, thou paying not, as just a man, as ere my conversation copied withal.
Oh, my dear lord.
Nay, do not think that I flatter. For what advancements may I hope from these, that no revenue hath but thy good spirit to feed and clothe thee? Why should the poor be flattered? No, let the candied tongue lick absurd pomp, and crook the pregnant hinges of the knee, where thrift may follow fawning. Dost thou hear? Since my dear soul was mistress of her choice, and could of men distinguish her election, hath sealed thee for herself, for thou hast been as one in suffering all that suffers nothing. A man that fortune buffets and rewards has ta'en with equal thanks And blessed are those whose blood and judgment are so well commingled that they are not a pipe for fortune's fingers to sound what stop she pleads. Give me that man that is not passion's slave, and I will wear him in my heart's core, aye, in my heart of hearts as I do thee. Something too much of this. There is a play tonight before the king. One scene of it comes near the circumstance which I have told thee of my father's death. I pray thee, when thou seest that act afoot, even with the very comment of thy soul, observe mine uncle. If this occulted guilt do not itself unkindle in one speech, it is a damned ghost that we have seen, and my imaginations are as foul as Vulcan's stiffy. Give him heedful note, for I mine's eyes will rivet to his face, and after we will both our judgments join in censure of his seeming.
Well, my lord, if he still aught the whilst of this play is playing, and scape detecting, I will pay the fee.
Now they are coming to the play. I must be idle. Get you a place.
Everybody makes a noise.
Oh, fares our cousin Hamlet.
Excellent, I faith, of the chameleon's fish. I eat the air. Promise crab. You know I can't feed honey capon, so.
I have nothing with this answer. Hamlet, these words are not mine.
No, well, mine now. My lord, you played once at the university, you say.
That I did, my lord. I was accounted a good actor.
Oh, what did you?
I didn't act Julius Caesar. I was killed in the Capitol. Brutus killed me.
Oh, it was a brute part of him to kill so capital a cat. Be the players ready.
Aye, my lord. They stay upon your patience.
Come hither, my dear Hamlet, sit by me.
No, good mother, here is metal more attractive.
Do you mark that?
Lady, shall I lie in your lap?
No, my lord.
I mean my head upon it.
Aye, my lord.
Do you think I mean country matters?
I think nothing, my lord.
That's a fair thought to lie between mates' legs.
What is, my lord?
Nothing.
You are marrying, my lord.
Who? I?
Aye, my lord.
Oh! You're only jig bagger. You're only jig maker. What should a man do but be married? For look, you how cheerfully my mother looks, and my father died within 2 hours.
Nay, 'tis twice 2 months, my lord.
So long. Nay then, let the devil wear black, for I'll have a suit of sable. Oh, heavens, died 2 months ago, and not forgotten yet. Then there's hope. A great man's memory may outlive his life. Half a year, but, my dear's lady, he must build churches then, or else shall he suffer, not thinking on with the hobby horse whose epitaph is 4-0, for oh, the hobby horse is forgotten.
Enter Queen embracing him, and he her. She kneels and makes show of protestation unto him. He takes her up and declines his head upon her neck, and lays him down upon the bank of flowers. She, seeing him asleep, leaves him. Anon comes in a fellow, takes off his crown, kisses it, and pours poison in the king's ear, and exits. The queen returns, finds the king dead, and makes passionate action. The poisoner, with some 2 or 3 mutes, comes in again, and with some 2 or 3 and seeming to lament with her, the dead body is carried away. The poisoner woos the queen with gifts, and she seems loath and unwilling a while, but in the end accepts his love.
What means this, my lord?
Mary, this is Mitching Malecho. It means mischief.
We like this show imports the argument of the play.
We shall know by this fellow. The players cannot keep counsel. Don't tell all.
Will you tell us what this show meant?
I, or any show that you'll show him, be not you ashamed to show. He'll not shame to tell you what it means.
You are not. You are not. All mark the play.
For us,
Oh, sorry.
end our tragedy, here stooping to your clemency, we beg your hearing patiently.
This is a prologue for the poesy of a ring,
'Tis brief, my lord.
as a woman's love.
Full 30 times hath Phoebus' cart gone round Neptune's salt wash, and Tellus' orbit ground, and 30 dozen moons with borrowed sheen upon the world have times 12 30's been. Since love our hearts in hymen did our hands unite commuted in most sacred bands.
So many journeys may the sun and moon make us again count o'er or love be done. But woe is me, you are so sick of late, so far from cheer and from your former state, that I distrust you. Yet do I discomfort you, my lord, in nothingness. For women's fear and love holds quantity in neither aught or in extremity. Now what my love is, proof hath made you know, and as my love is ceased, my fear is so, where love is great. The littlest doubts are fear, where little fears grow great, great love grows there.
Faith, I must leave thee, love, and shortly too. My operant powers their functions leave to do, and thou shalt live in this fair world behind, honored, beloved, and happily one as kind, for husband shalt thou.
Oh, confound the rest! Such love must needs be treason in my breast. In second, husband, let me be accursed. None wed the second, but who killed this the first?
Wormwood.
The instance that second marriage move are base respect of thrift, but none of love. A second time I kill my husband dead, when second husband kisses me in bed.
I do believe you think what now you speak, but what we do determine off we break, and purpose is but the slave of memory, of violent birth, of poor validity, which now, like fruit unripe, sticks on the tree, but fall unshaken when they mellow be. Most necessary 'tis that we forget to pay ourselves what we ourselves is debt. What to ourselves in passion we propose, the passion ending, though the purpose lose. The passion of either grief or joy. Their own inactures with themselves destroy. Where joy most revels, grief doth most lament. Grief joys, joy grieves on slender accident. This world is not made for I, nor 'tis thou strange, but that even our loves should with our fortunes change. For 'tis a question left us yet to prove, where Louvre did fortune, or else fortune Louvre. The great man down, you mark his favorite flies. The poor adventurers make friends of enemies. And hither doth Louvre for fortune tend, for who not needs shall never lack a friend. And who in want a hollow friend doth try, directly seasons him his enmity, his enemy. But normally, orderly, to end where I begun, our wills and fates do so uncontrary run, that our devices still are overthrown, and thoughts are ours, their ends none of our own. So think thou wilt no second husband wed, but die thy thoughts when thy first lord is dead.
Nor earth to give me food, nor heaven light, sport and repose lock from me day and night. To desperation turn my trust and hope. An anchor's cheer in prison be my scope. Each opposite that blanks the face of joy meet what I would have well, and it destroy. Both here and hence person and lasting strife, if once a widow, ever I be wife.
If she should break it now.
'Tis deeply sworn. Sweet, leave me here a while. My spirits grow dull, and main I would beguile the tedious day with sleep.
Sleep block thy play, and never come mischance between us twain.
Madam, how do you like this play?
Lady protests too much methinks.
Oh, but she'll keep her word.
You've heard the argument. Is there no offense in it?
No, they do but jest, poison and jest. No offense, side of the world.
What do you call the play?
The Mousetrap. Mary, how this play is the image of a murder done in Vienna. Gonzago is the Duke's name, his wife Baptista. You shall see anon. 'Tis a knavish piece of work, but what of that? Your Majesty, and we that have free souls, it touches us not. Let the galled jade wince, our withers are undone. This is one Licinius, nephew of the king.
You are a good chorus, my lord.
I could interpret between you and your love if I could see the puppets down.
You are keen, my lord, you are keen.
It would cost you a groaning to take off my head.
Still better and worse.
So you must take your husbands. Begin murder, pox leave the damnable face, and begin. Come, the croaking raven doth bellow for revenge.
Thoughts black, hands apt, drugs fit, in time of green, Confederate season, else no creature seen, thou mixture rank of midnight wheat collected, with gats band thrice blasted, thrice infected. Thy natural magic and dire property, unwholesome life usurp immediately.
He poisons him in the garden for the estate. His name is Gonzago. The story's extent, and written in very choice timing. You shall see anon how the murderer gets the love of Gonzago's wife.
The king rises.
What? Friday with false fires?
Who cares, my lord?
Give over the play.
Give me some light!
Lights!
Why, let the strucken deer go weep, the heart ungalled play. For some must watch while some must sleep, so runs the world away. Would not the sir, and of course the feathers, if the rest of my fortune turned Turk with me, with 2 provincial roses on my raised shoes, get me a fellowship and a cry of players, sir.
Half a share.
A whole one. For thou dost know, O Damon dear, this realm dismantled was of Jove himself, and now reigns here a very, very Jove.
You might have rhymed.
Oh, good Horatio. I'll take the ghost word for 1,000 pounds. Do this proceed.
Very well, my lord.
Upon the talk of the poisoning.
I did very well. Note him.
Come, some music. Come, the recorders. For if the king likes not the comedy, why then belike he likes it not. Come, some music.
Good, my lord, vouchsafing a word with you.
Sir, I'll hold it.
The king, sir,
Aye, sir, what again?
is in retirement marvelous distempered.
Did he drink, sir?
No, my lord, call it.
Your wisdom should show itself more richer to signify this to the doctor. For me to put him to his purgation would perhaps plunge him into a far more cholera.
Good, my lord. Put your discourse into some frame and start not so wildly from my affair.
I am tame, sir. Pronounce.
The queen, your mother, in most great affliction of spirit, has sent me to you.
You are welcome.
Nay, my good lord, this courtesy is not of the right breed. If it shall please you to make a wholesome answer, I will do your mother's commandment. If not, your pardon and my return shall be the end of my business.
Sir, I cannot.
What, my lord?
Make you a wholesome answer, my wit's disease. But, sir, such answer as I can make you shall command. Or rather, as you say, my mother. Therefore, no more. But to the matter, my mother, you say.
Then, thus says she says, your behavior had struck her into amazement and admiration.
Oh, wonderful son, that can so astonish a mother. But is there no sequel at the heels of this mother's admiration?
She desires to speak with you in her closest ere you go to bed.
We shall obey, were she 10 times our mother. Do any further trade with us?
My lord, you once did love me.
And so I do still by these pickers and stealers.
Good, my lord. What is your cause of distemper? You do surely bar the door upon your own liberty, if you deny your grief to your friend.
Sir, I lack advance.
How can that be, when you have the voice of the king himself for your succession in Denmark?
Aye, sir, but while the grass grows, the proverb is something musty. Oh, the reporters, let me see one. To withdraw with you, why do you go about to recover the wind of me as if you would drive me into a toil?
Oh, my lord, if my duty be too bold, my love is too unmannerly.
I do not well understand that. Will you play upon this pipe?
My lord, I cannot.
I pray you.
Believe me, I cannot.
I do beseech you.
I know no touch of it, my lord.
'Tis as easy as lying. Govern these passages with your fingers and thumbs. Give it breath with your mouth, and it will discourse most eloquent music. Look you, these are the stops.
But these cannot I command to any utterance of harmony. I have not the skill.
Why, look you now how unworthy a thing you make of me. You would play upon me. You would seem to know my stops. You would pluck out the heart of my mystery. You would sound me from my lowest note to the top of my compass. And there is much music, excellent voice in this little organ. Yet, cannot you make it speak? Flood, do you think I am easier to be played on that than a pipe? Call me what instrument you will. Though you can't fret me, you cannot play upon me. God bless you, sir.
My lord, the queen would speak with you, and presently.
Do you see yonder cloud that almost enshadeth?
By the mass, and 'tis like a camel indeed.
Oh, methinks it's like a weasel.
It's backed like a weasel.
Oh, like a whale.
Very like a whale.
Then will I come to my mother by and by. Fool me to I come by and by.
I will say so.
By and by is easily said. Leave me, friends. It's now the very witching time of night. Churchyards yawn, hell itself breathes out. Contagion to this world now, that I drink hot blood and do such bitter business as the day would quake, look on, soft. Now to my mother. O heart, lose not thy nature. Let not ever the soul of Nero enter the firm bosom. Let me be cruel, not unnatural. I will speak daggers to her, but use none. My tongue and soul in this be hypocrites. How in my words some ever she be shunned, to give them seals never my soul consent.
Scene 3. A room in the castle. Enter King Claudius, Rosencrantz, and Guildenstern. I like him not, nor stands it safe with us. Let his madness range. Therefore prepare you, your commission will forthwith dispatch, and he to England shall along with you. The terms of our estate may not endure a hazard so dangerous as doth hourly grow out of his lunacies.
We will ourselves provide both holy and religious fear. It is to keep those many, many bodies safe that live and feed upon your majesty.
And the single and peculiar life is bound with all the strength and armor of the mind to keep itself from annoyance. But such more, that spirit upon whose wheel depends and rests, that lives the many. The cess of majesty dies not alone, but like a gulf does draw what is near it with him. Or is it a massy wheel fixed on the summit of the highest mount, to whose huge spokes 10,000 lesser things are morticized and adjoined, which then when it falls and each small annexment, petty consequence, attends the boisterous roan. Never alone did the king sigh, but with a general groan.
Arm you, I pray you, to this speedy voyage, or we will fetters put upon this fear, which now goes too free-footed.
We will haste us. My lord, he's going to his mother's closet. Behind the arras, I'll convey myself to hear the process. I'll warrant she'll tax him home. And, as you said, and wisely was it said, 'tis meet that someone with more audience than a mother, since nature makes them partial, should o'erhear the speech of vantage. Fare you well, my liege. I'll call upon you ere you go to bed, and tell you what I know.
Thanks, dear my lord. Oh, my offences rank. Smells to heaven. It hath the primal eldest cursed upon it, a brother's murder. Pray, can I not, though inclination be as sharp as will, my stronger guilt defeats my strong intent, and, like a man to double business bound, I stand in pause where I shall first begin, and both neglect. What if this cursed hand were thicker than itself with brother's blood? Is there not rain enough in the sweet heavens to wash it white as snow? Whereto serves mercy but to confront the visage of offence? And what's in prayer but this twofold force, to be forestalled ere we come to fall, or pardon being down? And I'll look up, my fault is past. But what form of prayer can serve my turn? Forgive me my foul murder, that cannot be, since I am still possessed of those effects for which I did the murder, my crown, mine own ambition, and my queen. May one be pardoned and retain the offence? In the corrupted currents of this world, offence's gilded hand may shove by justice, and oft 'tis seen the wicked prize itself buys out the law, but 'tis not so above. There is no shuffling. There the action lies in his true nature, and we ourselves compelled, even to the teeth and forehead of our faults, to give in evidence. What then? What rests? Try what repentance can. What can it not? Yet, what can it when one cannot repent? O wretched state! O bosom black as death! O limed soul that, struggling to be free, art more engaged! Help, angels! Make assay! Bow stubborn knees! And heart with strings of steel, be soft as sinews of the newborn babe. All may be well.
Now might I do a pat. Now he is praying. And now I'll do it. So he goes to heaven. So I am revenged. That will be scanned. Villain kills my father. For that, I, his sole son, do the same villain send to heaven. Oh, this is higher in salary, not revenge. He took my father grossly, full of bread, with all his crimes broad blown as flush as May, and how he audit stands, who knows save heaven? But in our circumstance and course of thought, 'tis heavy with him, and am I then revenged, to take him in the purging of his soul, when he is fit and seasoned for his passage? No, up sword, and know that a more horrid hent, when he is drunk asleep or in his rage. or in the incestuous pleasure of his bed, the gaming, swearing, or about some act that has no relish of salvation in it. Then trip him that his heels may kick at heaven, and that his soul may be as damned and black as hell whereto it goes. My mother stays. This physic but prolongs thy sickly days.
My words fly up, my thoughts remain below. Words without thoughts never to heaven go. Scene 4, the Queen's Closet. Enter Queen Gertrude and Polonius.
We'll come straight. Look, you lay home. Tell him his pranks have been too broad to bear with, that your grace hath screened and stood between much heat and him. I'll silence me even here. The brain be round with him.
Mother, mother, mother!
I'll warrant you, fear me not. Withdraw, I hear him coming.
Now, mother, what's the matter?
Hamlet, thou hast thy father much offended.
Mother, you have my father much offended.
Come, come, you answer with an idle tongue.
Go, go, you question with a wicked tongue.
Why, how now, Hamlet?
What's the matter now?
Have you forgotten me?
No, by the rood, not so. You are the queen, your husband's brother's wife. And would it were not so, you are my mother.
Nay, then I'll set those to you that can't speak.
Come and sit you down. You shall not budge. You go not till I set you up a glass where you may see the inmost part of you.
What wilt thou do? Thou wilt not murder me. Help, help, ho!
Help! What hope? Help!
How now? A rat? Dead for a ducat. Dead. Ow! Ow! Ow!
Oh!
Oh!
Explain!
Hey, what hast thou done?
Nay, I know not. Is it the king?
Oh, what a rash and bloody deed is this.
A bloody deed. Almost as bad, good mother, as kill a king and marry with his brother.
As kill a king.
My lady, was my word. Thou wretched, rash, true fool. Farewell! I took thee for thy better. Take thy fortune. Thou findest to be too busy in some danger. Leave wringing of your hands. Peace, sit you down and let me wring your heart, for so I shall, if it be made of penetrable stuff, if damned custom has not raised it so that it is proof and bulwark against sense.
What have I done, that thou darest wag thy tongue in noise so rude against me?
Such an act that blurs the grace and blush of modesty, calls virtue hypocrite, takes off the rose from the fair forehead of an innocent love, and sets a blister there, makes marriage vows as false as dicer's oath. Oh, such a deed is from the body of contraction, plucks the very soul, and sweet religion makes a rhapsody of words. Heaven face doth glow. Yea, this solidity and compound mass, with tristful visage as against the doom, is thought sick at the act.
Ah me, what act that roars so loud and thunders in the index?
Look upon this picture, and on this the counterfeit presentment of two brothers. See what a grace was seated on this brow, Hyperion's curls, the front of Jove itself, an eye like Mars to threaten and command, a station like the herald Mercury, new lighted on a heavenly kissing hill, a combination and a form indeed, where every god did seem to set his seal to give the world assurance of a man. This was your husband. Look you now what follows. Here is your husband, like a mildewed ear, blasting his wholesome brother. Have you eyes? Would you on this fair mountain leave to feed and batten on this moor? Ha! Have you eyes? You cannot call it love, for at your age the heyday in the blood is tame, it's humble, and waits upon the judgment. And what judgment would step from this to this? Sense, sure you have, else could you not have motion. But sure that sense is apoplex, for madness would not err, nor sense to ecstasy was ne'er so thralled, but it reserved some quantity of choice to serve such a difference. What devil was it that thus has cozened you at hoodsman blind? Eyes without feeling, feeling without sight, ears without hands or eyes, smelling sans all? Or but a sickly part of one's true sense could not so mope. Oh, shame! Where is thy blush? Rebellious hell, if thou canst mutine in a matron's bones to flaming youth, let virtue be as wax, and melt in her own fire, proclaim no shame when the convulsive ardors give the charge, since frost itself as actively doth burn and reason panders will.
Oh, Hamlet, speak no more. Thou turnest my eyes into my very soul, and there I see such black and green spots as will not leave their tint.
Nay, but to live in the rank sweat of an inseamed bed, stewed in corruption, honeying and making love over the nasty
Oh,
sty.
speak no more. These words like daggers enter in my ears. No more, sweet Hamlet.
A murderer and a villain, a slave that is not 20th parts the tithe of your precedent lord, a vice of kings, a cut purse of the empire and the rule, that from a shelf the precious diadem stole and put it in his pocket.
No more.
A king of shreds and patches. Save me and hover over me with your wings, you heavenly gods. What would your gracious figure?
Alas, he's mad.
Do you not come, your tardy son, to chide? Thus, that lapse in time and passion lets go by the important acting of your dread command. Oh, say!
Do not forget, this vegetation is but to whet thy almost blunted purse. But look, amazement on thy mother lies. Oh, step between her and her fighting soul. Conceit in weakest body, strongest words, speak to her, Harold.
How is it with you, lady?
How is it with you, that you do bend your eye on vacancy, and with the incorporeal air do hold discourse? Or that your eyes your spirits wildly peep, and as a sleeping soldier's in the alarm, your bedded hair, like life and excrement, starts up and stands on end. O gentle sun, upon the heat and flame of thy distemper, sprinkle cool patience. Whereon do you look?
On him, look! You how pale he glares, his form and cause conjoined, preaching to stones, would make them capable. Do not look upon me, lest with this piteous action you convert my stern effect, than what I have to do with want true color, tears, perchance for blood.
To whom do you speak this?
Do you see nothing there?
Nothing at all. Yet all that is I see.
Nor do you nothing hear?
No, nothing but ourselves.
Look! Why, look you there, look how it steals away. My father, in his habit as he lived, look where he goes even now out of the portal.
This is the very coinage of your brain. This bodiless creation ecstasy is very cunning in.
Ecstasy! My pulse as yours doth temperately keep time and makes as healthful music. It is not madness that I have uttered bring me to the test, and I the matter will reward, which madness would gamble from. Mother, the love of grace, lay not that flattering unction to your soul, that not your trespass, but my madness speaks. It will but skin and film the ulcerous place, whilst rank corruption, mining all within, infects unseen. Confess yourself to heaven, repent what's past, avoid what is to come, and do not spread the compost on the weeds to make them ranker. Forgive me this my virtue, for in this fatness of the pursy times, virtue itself of vice must part today. Yea, curb and woo for leave to do him good.
Oh, Hamlet, thou hast split my heart in twain.
Oh, throw away the worser part of it, and live the purer within the other health. Good night. But go not to mine uncle's bed. Assume a virtue if you have it not. that monster custom who all sense doth eat of habits evils as angels yet with this, that to the use of action fair and good he likewise gives a frock or livery that aptly is put on. Refrain tonight, and that shall lend a kind of easiness to the next absence, the next more easy, for use almost can change the stamp of nature, and either curb the devil or throw him out with wondrous potency. Once more, good night. And when you are desirous to be blessed, I'll blessing beg of you for this same Lord. I do repent, but heaven hath pleased it so to punish me with this, and this with me, that I must be their scourge and minister. I will bestow him, and will answer well the death I gave him. So again, good night. I must be cruel only to be kind. Thus bad begins and worse remains behind. What more, good lady?
What shall I do?
Not this by no means that I bid you do. Let the bloat king tempt you again to bed, pinch wanton on your cheek, call you his mouse, or let him for a pair of wretchy kisses, or paddling your neck with his damned fingers, make you to ravel all this matter out, that I essentially am not in madness, but mad with craft. For good you let him know, for who that's but a queen fair sober wise would from a paddock, from a bat, a gift, such dear concerning hide? Who would do so? No, in despite of sense and secrecy, unpeg the basket on the housetop, that the birds fly, and like the famous ape, to try conclusions in the basket creep and break your own neck down.
Be thou assured, if words be made of breath and breath of life, I have no life to breathe what thou hast said to me.
I must to England, you know that.
What? I forgot. 'Tis so concluded on.
There's letters sealed, and my two schoolfellows, whom I will trust as I will adders fang. They bear the mandate, they must sweep my way, and marshal me to knavery. Let it work, for 'tis the sport to have the engender hoist me with his own petard, and I shall go hard, but I will delve 1 yard below their minds, and blow them at the moon. Oh, 'tis most sweet, when in one line 2 crafts directly meet. This man shall set me packing. I'll lug the guts into the neighbor's room. Mother, good night. Indeed, this counsel is now most still, most secret, and most grave. Who in life a foolish peating knave. Come, sir, to draw toward an end with you. Oh, good night, mother.